Hi, you're welcome to the Mental Health Podcast with Serenity Castle. My name is Evelyn Onovugede and I'm your host for today's section. Today we are going to be talking about mental health matters generally, the misconceptions about mental health, how people see mental health, and some of those little biases that people have when it comes to mental health matters. So here with me in the studio today, I have two wonderful guests that will be going on this journey with me today. I have.
My name is Ndundu. I'm a mental health nurse.
Hello, my name is Ezine. I am a clinical psychologist.
So, when it comes to mental health, there is this misconception. In fact, I would say a lot of people do not know what mental health is, in quotes, because before now, mental health conversations are usually not straightforward. In fact, if I have any or if I'm noticing any signs of mental health challenge, maybe in someone, it is usually very difficult to bring up that conversation. I would like you to tell us what mental health is and how people should perceive, mental health. I'm going to be starting with you, our clinical psychologist.
Okay, so thank you, our host. So I'll be defining mental health and what it means. So mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects the way we think, the way we behave, and the way we act. So your mental health is very important, right? And we need to be aware of all these things that I have highlighted: our psychological, our social, and our emotional well-being. So that's literally what mental health is all about.
As a psychiatric nurse, can you explain what mental health is so people watching out there would be able to relate and be able to understand from your point of view?
When we talk about mental health, it's a state of well-being that enables people to be able to cope with stresses of life. You identify your abilities, you'll be able to relate with people and also become productive in the community. That's what mental health is all about.
So, Nurse Andy, thank you for that, wonderful definition. It's really very, very eye-opening. So before now, people usually have this, misconceptions about mental health, and they see mental health as, though if I come to you and tell you, I think I'm having a mental breakdown. So people see it as this person is already losing it. This person is already going to the streets and all of that. So I think a lot of people do not really know that there are certain misconceptions that can, over around mental health, and it's really a big restriction. So I would like you to share some of those misconceptions, about mental health and some things that people should not really tag mental health as or mental health challenge as.
Now, if you look at mental health, it dates back to history. And if you look at the historical views about mental health, you discover that there were so many names and so many attributions that was made towards people who manifested with this mental illness. And that's why you discover that when someone is being seen to be mentally ill, they are being locked up, mistreated, beaten, battered, and all kinds of sacrifices are being done just to bring the person back to life.
Sorry to cut short. So I used to remember then, while I was really very little, and we just see someone that is not mentally stable. So we assume that this person, once this person bites you or once they hug you or catch you, you are going to start having mental health challenge. How true is that? Because I know for sure that some people still have that kind of mentality surrounding mental health.
It's absolutely not true. If someone who is mentally ill bites you, that doesn't mean you automatically become insane. It's wrong. Also, we have misconception that if a mad person runs into the market, everyone definitely will contact it. We also have misconceptions that someone who has offended the gods, who did something he wasn't supposed to do, definitely go down with mental illness. Also, we've also had misconceptions whereby if you have a child and you feed your child with certain foods like snails, eggs, those child begins to salivate and they go down with mental illness. We've also had stuffs like it could be maybe people who have offended someone, or it could be causes from their parents. That's why they go down with mental illness as well.
Oh, thank you so much, Nurse Andy. That's really very insightful. Okay, so to our clinical psychologist, so I would really like to know, how does the stigma surrounding mental health issues impact on individuals seeking help? Because if you look at it, if I have mental health issues, okay, just like those days when HIV and AIDS, the news about HIV and AIDS is everywhere, and so many persons are actually very scared coming up and talking about their status and all of that. But nowadays, a lot of people are also very scared to come out to talk about their mental health status. So what stigma surrounding mental health can actually impact individuals seeking help from either a professional or a loved one?
Stigma are like false belief that we have over something. So yeah, before I go into the question, I'd like to say something. So yeah, I remember as far as 2019 when I was 7, right? So first off, I was posted to the Ministry of Health to work in the public health. So later on now, the Ministry of Health, they were not paying. So I spoke with the other corps or core members in the hospital where I was working. And then they were like, okay, move to hospitals management board. And everybody wanted to be on hospital management board because they were paying so well. And also, so I moved to the hospital management board, right? So I was posted to the mental health facility. So I called my mom and told my mom that, oh, I'm not working in the public health anymore. I'm working in the mental health facility. And the saddest thing was, the name of the department was mental health. So when I told my mom that I've been moved to mental health, my mom was like, so you'll be working with mad people? I'm like, no, they're not mad per se. They was like, but mental health and all. I was like, no. She was like, so you're going to Yaba left? I'm like, no, I'm not going to Yaba left. Because I served in Osun State. And also, what am I saying? So if I could have told my mom that I want to work in a mental health, and that's like the response that I get. So imagine someone who has mental illness telling his family member that, okay, I want to go to see a psychiatrist or a therapist. And they'll be like, for what? Why are you going there? Like, what's wrong with you? And before you know it, if you had like influence in the family, they start to disrespect you because they feel like, okay, this one is already mentally ill and all. So why do you want to have conversation? That's in the family level. So imagine in the societal level where the whole awareness of mental health is not pronounced. So there's always stigma attached to mental health. And people always forget the fact that you don't have to be mentally ill before you see a psychiatrist or a therapist. You can go see a therapist for some other illnesses and all. So yeah, I feel like for the stigma to reduce, there should be more awareness on mental health, because stigma is not leaving anytime soon if there are no awareness of mental illness, because everyone has stigma. Even when I was serving at Yaba, if I tell my sister, oh, I'm going to work, we're like, okay, the other side of Yaba, right? I was like, yes, but then that's stigma. For someone that works, talk more of somebody that actually needs the help. So it's going to make the person feel aback talking to people about wanting to see a psychiatrist, or even going to, well, simply put, the mental health facility. So yeah, basically that's just what it is.